Viktor Frankl, 1905 to 1997, was a beacon of light in the darkest of times, a courageous soul who emerged from the horrors of the Holocaust with an unwavering belief in the resilience of the human spirit. As an Austrian neurologist and psychiatrist, he not only survived the unimaginable suffering of concentration camps but also used those harrowing experiences to shape a profound philosophy of life. In his seminal work, Man's Search for Meaning, Frankl revealed the power of finding purpose and meaning even in the most desolate circumstances. He taught us that, no matter the challenges we face, we possess the incredible freedom to choose our attitudes and responses. We've compiled some of the best Viktor Frankl quotes for you. Viktor Frankl quotes about attitude and freedom. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Forces beyond your control can take away everything you possess except one thing, your freedom to choose how you will respond to the situation. We who lived in concentration camps can remember the men who walked through the huts comforting others, giving away their last piece of bread. They may have been few in number, but they offer sufficient proof that everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. By declaring that man is responsible and must actualize the potential meaning of his life, I wish to stress that the true meaning of life is to be discovered in the world rather than within man or his own psyche, as though it were a closed system. I have termed this constitutive characteristic the self-transcendence of human existence. It denotes the fact that being human always points, and is directed, to something or someone, other than oneself, be it a meaning to fulfill or another human being to encounter. The more one forgets himself by giving himself to a cause to serve or another person to love, the more human he is and the more he actualizes himself. Viktor Frankl quotes about meaning and purpose. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. Ultimately, man should not ask what the meaning of his life is, but rather must recognize that it is he who is asked. In a word, each man is questioned by life, and he can only answer to life by answering for his own life. To life he can only respond by being responsible. In some ways, suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning, such as the meaning of a sacrifice. To draw an analogy, a man's suffering is similar to the behavior of a gas. If a certain quantity of gas is pumped into an empty chamber, it will fill the chamber completely and evenly, no matter how big the chamber. Thus, suffering completely fills the human soul and conscious mind, no matter whether the suffering is great or little. Therefore, the size of human suffering is absolutely relative. If there is meaning in life at all, then there must be meaning in suffering. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. Happiness cannot be pursued, it must ensue. Viktor Frankl quotes about love and relationships. Love is the only way to grasp another human being in the innermost core of his personality. No one can become fully aware of the very essence of another human being unless he loves him. By his love, he is enabled to see the essential traits and features in the beloved person, and even more, he sees that which is potential in him, which is not yet actualized but yet ought to be actualized. Love goes very far beyond the physical person of the beloved. It finds its deepest meaning in his spiritual being, his inner self. Whether or not he is actually present, whether or not he is still alive at all, ceases somehow to be of importance. I do not forget any good deed done to me, and I do not carry a grudge for a bad one. Viktor Frankl quotes about action and responsibility. Don't aim at success. The more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you are going to miss it. I want you to listen to what your conscience commands you to do and go on to carry it out to the best of your knowledge. Then you will live to see that in the long run, I say. Success will follow you precisely because you had forgotten to think about it. No man should judge unless he asks himself in absolute honesty whether in a similar situation he might not have done the same. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. A man who becomes conscious of the responsibility he bears toward a human being who affectionately waits for him, or to an unfinished work, will never be able to throw away his life. He knows the why for his existence, and will be able to bear almost any how. Viktor Frankl quotes about reflection and wisdom. So live as if you were living already for the second time and as if you had acted the first time as wrongly as you are about to act now. The pessimist resembles a man who observes with fear and sadness that his wall calendar, from which he daily tears a sheet, grows thinner with each passing day. On the other hand, the person who attacks the problems of life actively is like a man who removes each successive leaf from his calendar and files it neatly and carefully away with its predecessors, after first having jotted down a few diary notes on the back. He can reflect with pride and joy on all the richness set down in these notes, on all the life he has already lived to the fullest. What will it matter to him if he notices that he is growing old? Has he any reason to envy the young people whom he sees, or wax nostalgic over his own lost youth? What reasons has he to envy a young person? For the possibilities that a young person has, the future which is in store for him. We hope you love this list of the best Viktor Frankl quotes of all time. Comment down below which one is your favorite.